Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update on Sunday, December 2nd, 11 p.m. Mountain Time 2018. You're looking at Popo Catapetl. Yes, Popo by short. That's in Mexico, and it's about to blow. The uptick is real, and you're looking at activity just 24 hours ago from the volcano. Now, this massive quantity of lava cascading down the flanks is the equivalent of about 8,000 tons of molten rock all at once. If there were people in the way, they would be totally covered in billions of tons of rock, completely smashed, while they liquefied and turned into gas, essentially. This is a huge amount of lava spilling out on the flanks of this volcano, killing dozens of square kilometers of wildlife and trees all at once, right there. This is a significant event because it was short duration and unexpected. Now, Popo has been on the increase, but there's no way to tell when a small burp like this occurs. And bigger burps are coming, and people live just kilometers away from the edge here. I'm sure people were injured. No reports coming in right now, because there isn't a 3-kilometer exclusion zone from the base. But you can see how far these gigantic lava bombs are extending on this small outbreak at Popo. It's true, and you probably thought about it. It's boom time, and you've entered the boom zone, the boom room. Another storm midweek, rain locally heavy, burn scars, mud flows. We're talking San Fran to San Diego. Everyone there crying about all the rain. It's coming all at once. We already had debris flows in the area and many videos coming out online about that. We just don't have time to cover it. But it's going to get worse, and it's coming now, and it's coming midweek. Rain locally heavy, burn scar, mud flows, debris flows, potential loss for life. We warned you. Heavy snow in the Sierras. Heads up, Fresno. No snow there. It's going to be cold in Nevada. And to add insult to injury, this low is going to track itself across the southwestern U.S., wreaking havoc across Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico. And then it's going to move to the East Coast by midweek, crushing Virginia, North Carolina, maybe bringing some ice to Georgia and other southern states, including South Carolina, which is the fina. The next wintry mess to spread snow, ice from the southern plains, southeast to the east coast late this week into next weekend. No one in the entire planet can read that headline. Brian Donegan, you're fired. At a glance, a new storm system will sweep from the southern plains to the east coast this week into next weekend. Snow and ice could cause travel impacts across a widespread area as far south as the southern plains and the southeast, like the beast from the east. A new storm system is expected to bring widespread wintry mess, loss of life, thousands of accidents, snow, sleet, and freezing rain from the southern plains to the southeast to the east coast late this week into next weekend. This is a recipe for a missing autumn. Yes, north of the icy line, there has been no autumn. Simply a extended winter that's going to continue to extend until winter. We're talking southern plains, lower Ohio Valley, and parts of the southeast and mid-Atlantic into next weekend. We're still several days away from this system arriving in the plains in the east. So many of the key forecast details remain unclear, but every day we look at them, and every 6 hours a new model comes out. They're showing lots of snow. Yeah. 10 to 12 inches in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 states. It's going to be great. Maybe 16 or more inches in the southern Appalachians all the way down to Georgia and South Carolina. Maybe 18 to 20 in some locales, according to the GFS models. That's insane. And Al Gore's missing. If you want to check out the detailed forecast, I will leave you links below to this unpronounceable headline from the Weather Channel. Dozens injured as 22 tornadoes reported in central Illinois. Several people were Illinois. A rash of tornadoes broke out Saturday afternoon and evening across central Illinois, injuring 30 people, turning homes into piles of splintered wood. There were 22 tornadoes reported to the National Weather Service by Saturday, all in central Illinois. The office in Lincoln, Illinois and St. Louis, Missouri will conduct storm surveys on Sunday to confirm the intensity and the track. But it's clear they were totally fluxed at Amityville Food Market. Take a look. Refreeze from heavy wet snow turns Omaha area streets slick again. Cold commute and store, and guys with no gloves and pieces of paper are clearing their cars because they're totally prepared. I mean, he just went to the barber. Look, he has a great edge. Look at that. Perfect. They did it like he's perf. Except he's dead. Heavy wet snow created headaches across the region Sunday, strained backs and patience, and brought out the best in everyone that are absolutely not prepared for the times ahead. Clearly. Snowfall totals varied widely across the Omaha metro area. Officially, Omaha received 5.4 inches of snow based on readings at Epley Airfield. Now, those weren't the highest totals. And those weren't the highest totals of crashes. Crashes and slide-offs increased across the region Sunday evening as streets and highways turned icy with dropping temperatures. By noon Sunday, the Nebraska State Patrol reported troopers had handled over 200 weather-related incidents, including 152 motorists that were looking for Al Gore, the Nebraska Department of Transportation said. Scattered power outages reported, but not the main cause of threat. The major threat in northern and northeast Nebraska, snow totals reached 10 to 11 inches. As many as 14 inches fell in Cherry County in far north central Nebraska, according to reports submitted to the National Weather Service. Now, no snow is forecast for the coming days except a light sprinkling, which will just be a tinkling, and we'll get to it. Let's check out the GFS model. Let's check out that tinkling. It's coming. So the next system that's happening right now through Tuesday, through your Tuesday, is going to bring light snow to the Appalachians and Central Plains, up to 1 to 2 inches in some places. We're going to have lake effect snow in New York and some moderate snows in the northern northeast, including Vermont and New Hampshire. We're going to have moderate snows throughout most of Colorado and the entire Rocky Mountain front, going up through Wyoming and Idaho. And the heaviest snows will be in the central Sierras through Tuesday, which will continue and wrap south all the way towards Big Bear and San Diego. And a small plume in the southern panhandle of Texas will add insult to injury as the snow totals pile up in the southern Appalachians. Small system after small system will bring up to 7 to 10 inches in southern West Virginia. And at that time, the next system is moving through. And this is the newest model, which is showing 18 inches in the western mountains of North Carolina. We're talking Cold Mountain, up in the areas of Boone, very poor travel down through Asheville, Cherokee. Heads up. Hey, Kurt. Yeah, that's you, buddy. It's coming. So prepare now. Stockpile food. Don't shop late. Shop early. In fact, you should always have 3 months of food. I recommend 3 years of dry goods. And enough fun stuff and edibles to keep you alive for 90 days. Minimum. You never know what's going to happen, because as these water main breaks and other infrastructure starts failing way ahead of winter, when we hit winter, you'll be ready. Because we told you so. Look at these heavy snows going into Baja and Mexico again through December 13th. A week out from Christmas, it's looking serious. The droughts are ending everywhere, with up to 4 feet predicted in the Sierras in the entire region. Heavy snows in Northern California, heavy snows in the Cascades, heavy snows in the Southern Appalachians like never seen in a decade or more. And we are still a week out from winter. Are you picking it up? Heavy rainfall and thunderstorms continue to impact northern Florida After record cold temperatures and iguanas falling from trees, another cold blast is headed back to Florida shortly. Thunderstorms with isolated damaging wind gusts, in addition to flash flooding and rises on area rivers and streams, will be possible in portions of far southern Georgia into North Florida. Check out the green zones. Click on your county if you want to live. Winter weather advisories in northern Texas, northeastern New Mexico, and regional territories in southern Colorado, as well as north central Utah, north of Salt Lake. Time to wake and bake. Heavy snows forecast in the region of the Sierra. Freeze warnings as well. Check it out. Heads up, better bring your wheat in. You should have harvested it already. Northern Michigan looks like it sucks. Heavy wind everywhere. And then all this gray crap in the northeast, which is the beast from the east. And that means dense fog advisories and other shite happening there. Let's talk about ice. If you're not familiar with it and it's coming to an area near you, which you might not have experienced it in the last 10 years, remember that no ice is ever 100% safe. I'm an ice climber. I've climbed 500-foot vertical waterfalls, and I know about ice not being safe. But I know how to tell safe ice. You need a minimum of 4 inches to begin walking on it, 5 to 7 to drive any type of vehicle, 8 to 12 to consider a small automobile, and it has to be over a foot thick everywhere to drive a truck, or your truck is going to the bottom of the lake. And that's no wake and bake. That's a call to your insurance adjuster and you looking like an idiot. Now, if you don't know how to save yourself from ice, don't go on it. That's a recipe for disaster. And if you don't know how to swim, well, why would you walk on ice which is above water? Because you can fall in. If you don't know how to swim, don't ever go out on ice. And I recommend you never get on a boat. And it's really easy to learn how to swim, especially the doggy paddle. So go to your local Y, it's free. If it's not, I will donate the money to teach you how to swim. You're gonna need it. Why does snow make the world so quiet? Well, first of all, because it blocks out all the idiots. Second of all, it's beautiful. It changes landscapes which, prior to the change, you remembered for months as being quite different. So it gives you an immediate aesthetic effect. Now, as far as the silence, which I enjoyed since a child, and I revel in it. I love smoking a little bit of marijuana all alone as I'm walking through the snow. It really puts me in the zone. It connects me with source, because it eliminates all the chatter. And the reason that chatter is gone is because snow is porous. The more porous the snowfall, the quieter you're talking about. And if you have big fluffy flakes falling at the same time, complete silence. That's because these flakes and the snowpack act as a baffle. The same as the stealth material in the F-114A catches those radar waves and bounces them in and holds it forever. The same with the snow and your sound waves and all other sound. It captures the sound and it catches it and holds it forever. And that is the hush that happens when it's snowing outside. Diamond style. We haven't even reached tonight's first boom. Let's do it. Going. Oh, bringing everybody with me. I'm doing it. And that's a boom. Have you seen my new plow? Taking names. Significant ELF perturbations in the Schumann resonance before and during shallow mid-magnitude seismic activity in the Greek area, Kalpaki. Now, this is just coming out moments ago. Significant and long-lived extra low frequency perturbations in the Schumann resonance band have been detected for the pre-seismic and the metaseismic period of the earthquakes in the Greek area. This is only adding more. This is backing up the electric universe, the electric earthquake model that Ben Davidson has been spearheading for the last 5 years. And one of the only citizen scientist groups that have made breakthroughs that the mainstream are now just catching up with. Heads up, Journal of Atmospheric and Solar Terrestrial Physics. Yeah. The observers know as much as you do. Now, these significant and long-lived extra low-frequency perturbations in the Schumann resonance band, heads up, love matters, have been detected for these pre-seismic and metaseismic periods. Now, that means if you see perturbations in the Schumann resonance, it could mean a coming earthquake. Electromagnetic events restricted in a narrow zone of frequencies from 15 to 25 hertz. Yeah, that's pretty fine-tuned with a maximum of 21 hertz. So we're looking at like a 17 hertz perturbation in the SR band, kids. Detailed recordings of ELF, EM emissions and lithospheric and or ionospheric origin was obtained so close to a seismic epicenter. So they're saying that there are not only effects in the telluric currents of Earth, there are also effects in the ELF perturbations of the Schumann resonance. And these ELF EM emissions go from the crust up into the ionosphere. It's an electrical circuit is what they're saying. They're just not saying it so you understand it. The observations consist a unique opportunity to study the origin and properties of seismo-electromagnetic signals, particularly the Earth ionospheric circuit, telluric currents, and their effects at triggering or signaling major seismic events. In this case, they're moderate earthquakes in the Greek region. Greece. Peace, Greece. And that's coming out. Cutting-edge science that we'll share with you below. Check out the article. We have tons more articles to share. If you stick with us, let's get on with the seismic update because we're talking seismicity. Now, you can see clearly a huge uptick worldwide in earthquake activity, especially in the moderate range. This is more than a normal amount of earthquakes, especially in the Fiji region. Heads up, Fiji. We're looking for a big one to bomb you out. So that's the only area of note. Hey, we have 42,407 subscribers. Have you heard? You did now. That wasn't supposed to be there. Worldwide volcano news update. Krakatoa, about to blow up. We showed it to you. Maybe we should do a little flute solo while you all smoke a bolo. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's a lot of magma. Come check out Volcano YT. They've got great coverage of the most recent eruptions on the planet. Krakatoa Volcano Volcanic Ash Advisory, as well as lava if you're on the flanks. Abiko erupted today. Sabancaya Volcanic Ash. Dukono Continuous Volcanic Ash. Kopahu. I'm not judging. Volcanic ash not identifiable. Nevados de Chilan volcano clearly erupting. Or is that just a cloud? Yeah, it's down here. So, volcanic ash not identifiable, but something to the north looks like it's blooming. And we're still booming with our new plow. Watch it. Boom, 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 boom. You want to see a good view? Just driving along one day, and then I decided to take everyone with me right down the mountain like a fountain. Heads up. That looked like a bad day. Volcano YT. Yes, December 1st, Mount Popo erupted. Give him a thumbs up. Subscribe. There's only 13 thumbs up and 140 people on the earth that know this happened. That's a travesty. That's also strictly on purpose. Do you get it? It's like a boom. Like I'm about to fall off the side of the cliff and take you with me kind of boom. Whoa! Holy macaroni. Clean them down. Running them down. Let's go over to Etna and check out a live update as the sun rises in Italy. Etna is blowing. And that's why we're live here. And Volcano YT is showing the lava live. This is associated with many large volcanic complexes in the region, which could rapidly cool the earth and send us into a tailspin. So watching an Etna uptick should give us pause about the future of humanity, and you should prepare to survive and thrive in the future. You can do it by buying dry goods, learn about prepping, go to prepping sites all over the place. Al Gore to host 24-hour climate change TV special featuring Moby and the Goo Goo Dolls. I used to love those bands until they started hanging out with Al, who happens not to be my pal. Al Gore will host a 24-hour broadcast special on climate change next month, featuring an array of celebrities and musical performances by artists that include Moby and the Goo Goo Dolls. Now, this is apparently scheduled for tomorrow, 6 p.m. local time in LA. 24 hours of non-reality as snow falls nearby. They were smart enough to pick LA this time. It is not a fact, Al, that fossil fuels are driving climate crisis. Only in your polluted mind. Hashtag fake Al Gore. And it is not threatening our health. Emissions, which are called pollution, which include heavy metals and other petroleum distillates, which can make you sick, including carcinogens like xylene, benzene, ethene, and other heavy metals. Those are poison. Carbon dioxide is plant food, and you're a fat douchebag. I hope you're watching. Now, I hope you watch this too and join in the chat and tell them all to suck it. And bring with you the University of Alabama, Huntsville, lower tropospheric temperatures showing a rapid 0.8 degree drop since February 2016. You can bring them any of the DMI Arctic ice graphs that show exceptionally high ice in multi-decadal averages as we approach December. A December to remember. You can bring a cacophony of pictures, including Al Gore frozen in ice. Al! Get out of that iceberg, you prick! I knew you were hiding somewhere. And you can also burn your Goo Goo Dolls CDs or use them as bird chasers. And Moby was good for a minute. Until he was friends with Al Gore. Whew. California wildfires carbon emissions equal a year of power pollution. In just 1 month of fires. Al! How come you're not taxing California, you prick? They're all frauds. I can't wait till a VEI 7 goes off and all the carbon dioxide that humans ever made in the last 4 million years gets shot into the stratosphere. Because it'll be very dark and then all the sheep will jump from the tops of buildings. Sea ice thickness, 1 December. Record ice building across the Arctic. Half of Hudson Bay covered. Moving into multi-decadal averages. Soon to turn up and cross the gray line like I promised by mid-December. It will be a December to remember. Before winter, I promised we will be above the gray line in new record territory. Mark my words. Now you're looking at another diamond, octahedral, spinning. Fantastic. Unfortunately, yes, it's an asteroid, Bennu. NASA's OSIRIS-REx spacecraft, and we're not talking Rex Bear. We're talking OSIRIS-REx. Sorry, Mr. Bear. But this spacecraft is to arrive at Bennu after a long journey. It's the next step in the agency's mission to bring a bit of an asteroid back to Earth. Well, I can assure you a bit of asteroid is going to bring itself back to Earth when it collides with us and sends us into the next ice age. Just days after InSight lander touched down safely on Mars, after a long, uncertain journey, probably in Monument Valley, NASA is getting set for another nail-biter. The arrival of the space agency's OSIRIS-REx at its target, a skyscraper-sized asteroid known as Bennu. Bennu? The long-anticipated rendezvous with the space rock will occur noon Eastern Standard Time on December 3rd. Interesting. NASA will live stream coverage of the cosmic meetup tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A preview of the OSIRIS-REx mission will begin at 11:15. Check it out, because one of these babies is coming to Earth, which is why we are so concerned about what they're made of. Because if it hits, we might be able to go out there and mine it. And all these rich pricks will just get richer while you burn in hell and they don't bring you any help. Astronaut says a neglected telescope is NASA's best chance of defending Earth from city-killing asteroids like Bennu. And he says, for God's sake, fund it. That's because he's retired and he doesn't give a... And he knows what's about to hit. Something is. Rusty Schweikert, a retired NASA astronaut, speaks at an event in July 2006. I don't know if he's alive or dead, but he certainly has some good information. And the information is that only $40 million is needed for us to fund a failing satellite up there that could help save our arse. Yeah. Rusty Schweikert, an aerospace engineer, retired astronaut who flew on the Apollo 9 mission, says there is a solution in waiting for the problem. NASA can launch the Near-Earth Object Camera, NEOCAM, which is a small infrared observatory into space. It's a critical discovery telescope to protect life on Earth, and it's ready to go, Schweikert told Business Insider at The Economist on November 1st. It's ready to go. The problem is there's no money, because we have a space force, like Spaceballs, where we're going to go out there and save the space instead of save our heirs. Now, NEOCAM's designers have pitched the mission to NASA multiple times, and they've been shut down. For God's sake, fund it. It's a mainline program to save humanity, you f***ing pricks. I mean, if we need anything in space, it's NEOCAM. Nothing else. Except for maybe some satellites going towards the sun, which we need. That's happening now. It's happening now as they go to the sun like boom! Like plow it down on the way to the sun. Oh my God, they're falling down the cliff. Watch this guy. He thinks it's just a regular day. Whoa! I slid a little. Is that bad? Oh, that's very bad. Whoa! He made it out alive. Whew, that is fucking crazy. Not only that, NEOCAM just looks like a badass van that you want to be driving in. Can you just picture it? Like, you put a rifle out here and shoot the aliens. Pew, pew, pew. Pew, pew. Pew, pew. Cosmic airbursts may have wiped out parts of the Middle East 3,700 years ago. Yeah, many of you right-wing extremists are celebrating because of the death of all those Muslims. But that was a long time ago. And there were lots of other people there as well. Now, this cosmic airburst may have wiped out parts of the Middle East 3,700 years ago, as confirmed by a new study, which confirms ancient texts which describe nuclear explosions happening above the surface of the Earth at this time. Mahabharata much? Heads up. Some 3,700 years ago, a meteor or comet, Enki, exploded over the Middle East, wiping out human life across a swath of land called Middle Gore. Yeah, it sounds like science fiction, but it's actual science diction. North of the Dead Sea is an area called Middle Gore, and archaeologists say they have found evidence of a cosmic airburst. Now, if you've never heard this term before, it's the same as Tunguska, where an asteroid or cometary piece enters our atmosphere with extremely different charge than the surface body, Earth, and a plasma beam shoots out from the surface to arc with it, ionizing it above the surface in a nuclear blast. The airburst in an instant devastated approximately 500 square kilometers immediately north of the Dead Sea, not only wiping out 100% of all the cities and towns, but also stripping agricultural soils from the once fertile fields and covering the eastern Middle Gore with a superheat brine of Dead Sea anhydrite salts pushed over the landscape by the event's frontal shockwave. The researchers wrote in the abstract for a paper that was presented at the American Schools of Oriental Research annual meeting held in Denver, November 14th. Now, the anhydrite salts are a mix of salts and sulfates from the evaporating Dead Sea that is instantaneously fluxed by a nuclear explosion. Based upon the archaeological evidence, it took at least 600 years to recover sufficiently from the soil destruction and contamination before any civilization could again become established. That is some mind-blowing information. Come check it out. Links below. I have more science to blow your mind. Solar cycle characteristics and their application in the prediction of the coming cycle 25. In the Journal of Atmospheric and Solar Terrestrial Physics this week, we have a group coming out of, I believe, Korea. Don't quote me on it. But the Solar Influences Data Analysis Center issued a new version 2 of the sunspot number data for July 2015. They're predicting solar cycle 24 to continue till October 2020. That's 2 more years. Down, down, down. Each winter getting worse than the next, and we haven't gotten into the first winter. But unfortunately, these people are claiming that solar cycle 25 will be bigger than 24. Now remember, 99.9% of all solar scientists were wrong at predicting the last cycle. So what are the odds these guys are right? The same odds as these cars not being damaged. Now you're going to really want to know this piece of information because it will determine how old you will live. Now, I know you're eating healthy organically and you're taking your supplements. Many of you are taking cannabis oil, which I highly recommend every day, large quantities, as much as you can ingest, including raw, plant, other tincture, and extract. Now, it has come to the conclusion of statisticians and others that solar energy at birth determines lifespan. Now, I was born at a solar minimum back in 1971. In fact, I'm one of the gifted cosmic ray babies of that era. I went to special class and everything. But if you were born during a solar max, that shortens your lifespan by at least 8 years, minimum. Lower solar energy at birth favors long lifespan. Me. The effect of high solar energy at birth becomes more manifest after the age of reproduction. So for women, that's menopause. And if you were born during solar max, you may get sick. And twice as many people with multiple sclerosis are born during solar max than the general population. And these are just some of the reveals from a new study that shows that when you're born on the solar cycle has a lot to do with longevity of your life. I'm sorry I had to break the news to you, especially if you were born during solar max. Supermoon and total lunar eclipse, blood moon, to coincide with a rare celestial event coming this January. A supermoon this January is going to coincide with a total lunar eclipse, and it will be visible across the US and Canada. Boom! Like, rip me off a cliff. It's supermoon, rip me off a cliff, lunar eclipse, rip me another off. Yes! I love those times. Cosmic catastrophe much? Please go away. January's total lunar eclipse is special as it will also be a supermoon. A phenomenon where the full moon coincides with its closest approach to Earth. So it looks really big. It's called the perigee. The opposite of that would be the apogee. This makes the moon appear much larger than normal. And while it's much larger, it's going to fully eclipse. Now it's the moon, so we can stare right at it. No special equipment needed. Just get a good camera, which I have, set up on a tripod. And we'll film it. And we're going to show it live. Here. I promise. Dust in the atmosphere blocks out the high-frequency blue light waves, but the longer wavelengths of red come through. And it looks like the blood red moon, which will fully eclipse in January during the supermoon, which is a supermoon boom. Guys, I hope you got something out of the video. 37 minutes in. Kept it clean, because I'm mean and lean, and I'm a blast and plow machine. Don't try this at home. Never slide off the cliff while you are attached to another vehicle. I don't know how that happened, but apparently that other truck was just stuck on the guardrail, and when he ripped the guardrail off, no, they look like they're chained together. That's insane. Maybe he was towing him. Yeah, he was towing him with a chain, and that's insane. See ya! Wouldn't want to be ya. We love you. Be safe. LeakCon 2019.